What's going on, guys? Aero here, and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about the next Nintendo Direct, as I know it's a topic that pretty much a lot of people have been discussing, and everybody is wondering when exactly the next Nintendo Direct is going to come. Now the month of June is always fun for video games because we usually get E3, and that always has so many different game presentations and announcements that happen there, but unfortunately this year we don't have an E3 presentation. However, we've been getting a lot of other game announcements from other companies doing their own events. We also have Jeff Keighley with like the whole Summer Games Fest thing as well, so we have been getting cool announcements, and everybody has pretty much gone so far with like Summer Games Fest. Of course, PlayStation recently had their State of Play where we got to see Street Fighter 6, we got to see Final Fantasy 16, and then of course Xbox just recently had their event where we got to see Starfield and Hollow Knight Silksong and a lot of other cool things. So it's just like everybody's kind of wondering now, when are we going to get our batch of Nintendo news? Because that's pretty much the only thing that we're kind of waiting on now, is for that next Nintendo Direct to finally happen. Now for a while, we all thought that the next Nintendo Direct was going to happen this week, and so like from the time that I'm making this video and when I upload it, like literally the next day Nintendo would make the announcement and we would get the Direct this week. However, it's looking like now that the Nintendo Direct is still going to be happening this month, but it's actually going to be pushed to kind of a very late part of the month, and that's what I want to talk to you guys about, because we have a pretty credible leak now that is going around about exactly when the next Nintendo Direct is going to happen, and multiple like insiders are talking a lot about it and all saying that everything is lining up and that they've heard similar things. Now this all started from a person known as Alana Pierce, so if you guys don't know who this person is, she's actually someone who's worked a lot with the video game industry, and she used to work at IGN, but now she's working with Sony in Santa Monica, and the thing is she actually has her own Twitch channel and stuff where she reacts to video game showcases and does her own streams, and so I think because recently we had the Xbox presentation which happened on Sunday, she was doing a live reaction to it, and somebody in the chat was talking about like when the Nintendo Direct was going to happen and when we were going to get some more information. And she said something very interesting about what she's heard and exactly when the next Nintendo Direct is going to happen. So I'm just going to show you guys the clip right here and you can see for yourself.
Is there a Nintendo Direct announced? No, but I believe that there is a Nintendo Direct coming on the 29th. I don't know that that's been announced. You heard it here first. Let me check what date it is. I have it written down. Yeah, June 29th, Nintendo Direct. It's not technically a leak because Nintendo didn't tell me, which is how I make that call, but it's also I'm not leaking anything that's in it, which is what I think is shitty.
So yeah, it seems like Alana basically just leaked that the next Nintendo Direct is going to be happening on June 29th, and that's definitely much later than a lot of people were expecting. I think most people did expect that there was going to be a Nintendo Direct happening this month because it just makes a lot of sense, but it seems like now Nintendo is actually going to be doing it much later, and it's not going to be in like mid-June, but actually right towards the end and towards the beginning of July. Now, ever since Alana mentioned this, a lot of other industry insiders have also come out and said that they've heard similar things. So I know Andre from Game Explain did say that he's basically heard that everything is lining up to happen on June 29th as well. And then we also have a tweet here from Direct Feed Games where it says here the information is accurate. The window of airing is either June 28 or June 29, may depend on your time zone / regional location. It was never planned for the coming week. It's been slated for late June for many weeks. This is not the result of a delay. It's as planned. And then we also have this Central Leaks account, which I know for the most part they usually just talk about Pokemon stuff, but they put out a tweet here saying the next Nintendo Direct is coming June 29th. This is 100% legit. So I don't know if they have like their own sources that told them this information, or if they're just going off of what other people have already said. Now, all of these people also work within the video game industry. Alana, of course, works with Sony, and then Game Explain are video game journalists, and it's because of that that it's much easier to take their word for something like this compared to like a random person on 4chan or Twitter who's telling you when to expect a Nintendo Direct, so it definitely does make these people much more credible. Now, what's also really interesting is that the day that the supposed Nintendo Direct is going to happen is also the day that Nintendo is going to be having their next shareholders meeting where they talk with their investors about how many sales the Nintendo Switch has had and their games and things like that. So I guess it would make a lot of sense if they do have a Nintendo Direct right before then or right around that time to announce some of their new upcoming titles. That way they can talk about those during the meeting and also let investors know which games are going to be coming on the way. Now the 29th is also a pretty interesting day because by the 29th, Fire Emblem 3 Hopes will have already released for the Switch, and I would really think that Nintendo would have wanted to have a Nintendo Direct right before that game came out so they could give it like one last big push for that game, because of course Fire Emblem games don't really sell insanely well, and of course paired with Warriors games which also don't sell really well either, it really does seem like the Fire Emblem 3 Hopes could have used like a big kind of push in the next Nintendo Direct to kind of have people get excited for it right before it comes out. But I guess now Nintendo is kind of just waiting till that game is out too. And by that time, all of the big June games will have already released too, so Mario Strikers and Fire Emblem 3 Hopes. So by that time, the next Nintendo Direct can really just focus on the upcoming games like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Splatoon 3, and some of the other games like that. I also wonder if this Direct is still going to be paired with a Nintendo Treehouse presentation, because usually these June Directs that we get around E3 time, we get the Nintendo Direct, and then there's also some Treehouse presentations where they have some gameplay and footage of them actually playing these upcoming games, and especially for big games like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, where we still have no idea exactly how to play that game with the combat and how the gameplay for that game actually is, it really does seem like having an actual Treehouse presentation or a gameplay showcase for that game would be much needed. So it'll be interesting to see if this Direct on the 29th is still going to be earlier, kind of like the rumored time which was rumored for this supposed week, which was going to be at 12 p.m. Eastern time, so that would be 9 a.m. I think Pacific time, so it will be a couple hours before Nintendo Directs usually happen, which are like in the evening time. So it'll be interesting to see if that does happen with this Direct on the 29th as well, and if they do have some Treehouse presentations for games like Xenoblade 3, Splatoon 3, and other upcoming games as well. But yeah, there you go guys, that is pretty much all the information that we have for the next upcoming Nintendo Direct. It looks like it's all pointing towards it happening for June 29th, so I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see, and if it is gonna be happening on June 29th, that does end up being a Wednesday, so Nintendo would have to make the announcement either on like Monday or Tuesday, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I guess since a lot of other industry insiders are also pointing towards this happening, it does seem like that this one is looking much more likely, and it's not just some random person who's telling you when the next Nintendo Direct is. And I'm definitely pretty excited because I do think that this next Nintendo Direct is going to have some pretty good stuff. And so yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, then definitely be sure to click that like button and also comment down below and let me know what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that the next Nintendo Direct is going to be happening on June 29th? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have some more Nintendo content in the future, so definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Click on that bell to become a part of the notification squad. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.